This is not clickbait. This is the weirdest piece of gear I've ever received. So we've got, let me get this on the tripod. There we go, how's that? Is that better? Okay, there we go. How's that? This video is not clickbait. We got a ton of stuff to cover in today's video. We've got some Q&A stuff that I'm gonna answer, and then I've got the weirdest piece of gear ever sent to me ever. I've got some other cool pieces of gear that I wanna show you guys that really intrigued me lately, and it's kind of a philosophy that I do during my daily life, so to do this out on the trail kind of makes sense for me. But I got some really cool gear sent to me I wanna show you guys. I kind of feel like we should sit down. Do you guys wanna sit down? Is that cool? Let's go sit down. Let's do that. How's that? Is that better? You feel like we're sitting down having a Coke or something? No? Yeah, me neither. One of the pieces of gear I want to talk about, something I've been thinking about for a while, just kind of debating on whether it was something I was going to try out on the trail. And I did. I tried it out on my last trip and I really liked it. Was instead of bringing a headlamp, I thought, let's just bring a flashlight. It's the Nitecore MH12 GT flashlight. Now right away you're probably looking at this flashlight thinking, Dan, I thought you were a backpacker. Why are you bringing a huge flashlight out on the trail? So this is where I think this flashlight works for the right person. Is, let's say you're a backpacker. You're not necessarily a backpacker who's gonna backpack to different locations every night, but you're the guy who's gonna, hike in as a base camp. You're gonna set up camp and you're gonna day hike. So this would be a perfect flashlight for base camp. So I was on their website and I was looking around at it, and I found out that this flashlight also has the option of adding this diffuser that you can put on the end of it. So not only do you get a flashlight while you're out at camp, but you get a diffuser. And what the diffuser does, you stick it on the end of the light here. It's got a button that clicks on and off, and this becomes a lantern. This is a 1,000 lumen flashlight. And then it goes all the way down to 1 lumen, and then there's variable levels of lighting that you can get with it. It's also USB rechargeable, which I thought was really, really cool. So you can, plug it into your battery bank for the weekend or whatever, but you're probably not going to need to because there's a huge 18650 battery that Nitecore makes. It's a 3400 milliamp hour battery, and this thing will last like 25 hours or something at 55 lumens. So you could literally like hang this up in a tree or in your tent or wherever and click it on and leave it on all night long. It's IPX8 waterproof, which means that it can handle the rain, the wind, the weather, and it's not gonna damage the light whatsoever. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dan, but I'm a hiker. I'm a backpacker. I'm a person that likes to hike to different locations each night. I don't wanna carry that big, heavy flashlight. What do you got for me, Dan? I've got something for you. A few weeks back, I did a trip to Manitou Island, just off the coast of Michigan on Lake Michigan, and I decided not to bring a headlamp. I'm gonna bring a flashlight with me. You see that? The leaves are falling. It's fall. I decided not to bring a headlamp. I decided I was gonna bring a flashlight with me. And the flashlight that I chose, it's the Nitecore TUP, or TUP, or TUP, whatever it is, however you say it. This one is an awesome, awesome light. So here is why I love this light. It has a small screen on the side of it that tells you lumen levels and battery levels as you're using it. So why is that cool? Well, it's cool because when you're out on the trail and you've got your electronics, whether it's your phone or like a smartwatch or a flashlight or whatever it is, or a headlamp, you're always wondering, or at least I am, how much battery power I have left. And some of them aren't really too intuitive. They tell you like, well, the light will flash 2 times at 75%. You're like, okay, whatever that means. So for me, I like to know how much battery power I got. And I'm always kind of, making sure everything's charged at night. So what I tend to do is at nighttime, I'll just top off all of my electronics. I'll plug everything in, make sure everything's charged up for the next day. And I think that that's kind of a waste to a degree, because if I know how much power is in this light and I know exactly how many hours and minutes I have left, I don't have to worry about taking the power away from my battery bank that would be needed to charge my phone or something else. This flashlight also goes up to 1,000 lumens. It also goes down to 1 lumen. The battery is enough to last an entire weekend without even having to recharge it. This thing is also lightweight, and I love the fact that this is also micro USB rechargeable. The only issue with this flashlight that I really didn't like, well, actually there's two things. It came with a small key ring that was attached to the bottom of the flashlight here. You can kind of see where it was. And I just took a pair of wire cutters and cut it off because I like my flashlights to be able to tail stand and kind of have that candle effect. And this didn't do that when I first got it, but now it does. So I fixed that. The other thing that may be an issue for some people is that these buttons here are very easily pressed. It has a lockout function that if this thing is in your pocket and that lockout function is not on, this light will turn on in your pocket. But if it's on my hat, I don't have to worry about locking it out because I'm not gonna bump the buttons while it's on my hat. So this may actually be the perfect backpacking flashlight. If you guys are into flashlights while you're backpacking, you're definitely going to want to check out the Nightcore Top. This would be my 100% go-to light. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description below. If you guys want to check it out yourself, go ahead and buy it. Just know, if you click the links in the descriptions of any of my videos, they are usually Amazon affiliate links. If you click on them, it doesn't cost you an extra penny whatsoever. You go ahead and buy whatever you want, but Amazon pays me a little bit of a commission because I took you to their store to get items from them, and it helps out this channel. So it's a really cool way, a totally free way for you guys to help support the channel. What I'm able to do here for you guys week after week, I would really appreciate it. I bet you're wondering about the weird gear, right? You're like, Dan, why haven't you been talking about this weird gear? You've been talking about flashlights for 10 minutes. What's going on? All right, I gotta stand up for this. We're gonna have to get the tripod all set up again. Give me 1 second. This is legitimately the weirdest piece of gear I have ever been sent. I get tons of companies reaching out to me. This company reached out to me when I read the email and I couldn't believe what I was reading. Like, you're really saying that you make that? And like, okay, so here's what it is. Huh? Is that weird? No? Watch. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this. It's an inflatable vest. I feel like Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2. I was so excited to come out here and show you this. I forgot to write down the name of the company. So I'll put their information up on the screen for you guys. They claim that this vest that is inflatable is not only super lightweight, which it is fairly lightweight, but it's also warmer than a down vest. I do feel like actual warmth, and I don't know if it's from my hot air. If you end up buying this thing, make sure you size up, because when you blow it up, it's like constricting. Got pockets for what it is. I'm like thoroughly impressed with the quality. I mean, these aren't like YKK zippers, but it's got a nice little pull tab here. It's got an inside pocket. What do you say we read some questions? I'll give you some answers. I put out on the community tab yesterday. I said, hey, if you guys want to ask me any questions, ask me anything you want. Did you guys know I started an Instagram last week? Head on over to the Instagram. Make sure you follow me, say hi to me, shoot me a message. But anyway, so I asked you guys to give me some questions, and I'm gonna give you some answers. Why is backpacking with Jason so cool? That's a channel, good friend of mine, because Jason, you are the man. Your best tips for backpacking with kids. So I did a video about 8 or 9 months ago called How to Backpack with Kids. I will link it right here. What is one of your all-time favorite pieces of gear that you discovered on your own and one that was recommended to you? It is the Nightcore NU25 headlamp. That is probably the most popular headlamp out there. I discovered that before anybody else. I'm convinced of it. And then one that was recommended to me would probably be the Nemo Tensor Insulated Regular Wide Pad. My good friend Devin over at Backcountry Exposure, who is a gear genius. If I ever have gear questions, I go to Devin. He recommended that to me. Those are some of my favorite pieces of gear of all time. What is your favorite backpacking meal? Oh man, that's a good one. I'm gonna say probably the Mountain House beef stroganoff. That's pretty good. Would you consider doing a Walmart only backpacking trip? I think it would be cool to see what you think of the Walmart gear and what cheap gear would actually be worth using in the backcountry. I might put together sort of a gear list idea, but I do think that you can gather enough gear at a Walmart to go backpacking. I mean, I did it when I did my first trip. I did that. My backpack epically failed, but I did it. So yeah, it can definitely be done. How often are you contacted by vendors wanting to review their product as a follow-up? Are there any products you won't review? I get contacted Sometimes daily, sometimes every other day, but pretty often. I get stuff sent to me all the time. Are there products that I won't review? Yeah, there's tons of products I won't review. I've got a whole pile of products sitting up in my office right now that there's no way on earth I would ever review it. And not because I necessarily don't like it, but because I'm trying to make videos that appeal to you guys, so not everything's gonna do that. And so I'm trying to pick and choose what would work and what wouldn't. What's one of your favorite camping or backpacking hacks? I don't know. I don't know if I have any hacks. I'm hackless. I'm not good at hacks. Sorry. What is on your backpacking bucket list if time and money weren't an issue list? Oh, Glacier National Park, the Sawtooth Mountains. I would love to go to Olympic National Park. I would love to hike like overseas somewhere in New Zealand. Oh man. So yeah, there's a lot of places. I don't think there's any way I could just choose one. Best advice for one, getting back out there after life got in the way the last few years and you're in your 50s, and two, more importantly, someone who got lost a lot and no sense of direction, how to hike by yourself because there isn't that many into hiking older. I'm laughing because I am in my 40s and I started backpacking in my mid 30s. So, okay, so that's totally possible. And then I'm also laughing because I am the most directionally challenged person ever. If I don't have a map, a compass, a GPS telling me what to do, or somebody planning my hikes for me, which has happened on the last several hikes, like, all right, Dan, go this way. There's a fork in the trail. You're going, I don't know where I'm going. So I am right there with you. Best advice, just get out there and do it. There's really nothing else to tell you other than get off your butt and go hike. What editing software do you use? I use Premiere Pro. And how do you train for a backpacking trip? Also, how do you plan for your trips? Well, obviously, from my manly, muscular physique, you guys can tell that it's totally unnecessary for me to, physically train for hikes. I'm just messing. I don't. I mean, unless I know I'm going on a really long hike, I might run on the treadmill for a couple weeks prior or something like that, really, but that's about it. But yeah, hiking out here in the Midwest isn't really ultra difficult. How do you protect your gear and bag to keep rodents and mice from chewing up everything overnight in camp? I hang it up on a branch or a tree, or in my hammock. I hang my pack on my suspension, or I have like a pack hanger I'll bring and just kind of wrap it around a tree and hang it that way. But rodents are relentless, and sometimes when you do that, they could still kind of get into it. I've never really had a problem with rodents. I've never had like anything chewed into or anything, so I've been lucky. But yeah, that's how I do it. Have you thought about YouTuber meetup? Obviously out west though, since it's just so cool over here. Yes, I have, and I would love to do that, but I do not have the money to do that. If anybody wants to give me a plane ticket to head on out there to put one together, here's my email. What's the coldest night you ever spent outside, and how did you deal with it? I would say probably between 10 and 15 degrees Fahrenheit is the coldest I've been out. I just don't enjoy cold weather that's uncomfortable. I mean, anything under like 20 degrees and I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of done. Even with good gear, I don't know. I don't like sitting around at camp in that. So, yeah. When are you coming to Washington State to do some hiking? Dude, just buy me a ticket. I'm there. What is a favorite video of yours? Why? What makes your videos stand out and be so darn addictive? I don't know. I cringe when I watch my own videos. So, when are you coming to Western North Carolina for some Linville Gorge action? Oh man, I would love to head out there. Again, buy me a ticket. Have you ever done a canoe kayak based camping trip? If not, would you consider it? I'd recommend the Boundary Waters canoe area in northern Minnesota. Yes, I have. I've already been in talks with a friend of mine to plan some sort of a kayak trip. I have never kayaked in my life. I've canoed, never kayaked, but it's super intriguing to me, and it's something I definitely want to try. What type of brands do you recommend for hiking jackets? For example, a lot of YouTube backpackers seem to like the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisper jacket. Yeah, so I would recommend that jacket too because I own it and love it. I also own the Arc'teryx Atom LT, love that. It's a synthetic jacket. And then I also own a Marmot jacket that I got at Costco for like 70 bucks. It's a down jacket, it's a little bit heavier, but it works. It's actually warmer than my Ghost Whisper jacket, but it's heavier. So I would just say, if you don't want to spend a ton of money, just go get a cheap down jacket, and usually they're packable and decently lightweight, so they should work for you. Do you have any plans to through hike a long trail like the AT, PCT, or CDT in the future? 100% absolutely not. I don't. I do not have a desire to do that. I am the type of person that goes backpacking and after like 3 or 4 days, I'm done. I'm done. I want to go home. I want to see my family. I want to get back to life, and then I get the bug to go do it again in a few weeks. So no, I have no desire to do that whatsoever. I think people that do that are amazing, awesome. I love following them, but me personally, that's just something it's just not on my list. What is your longest backpacking trip? So by longest, do you mean like days or do you mean like miles? So my longest backpacking trip was probably 5 days. And my longest miles of a trip was almost 50 when I hiked Pictured Rocks last year. So we just hiked, you know, a few miles each day. All right, conveniently, perfectly at the end of this video, my neighbor decided to turn on his weed eater. So if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe for more. Please make sure you hit the bell notification so I can send you a video every time it's released. Check me out on my new Instagram, follow me on Facebook, and send me an email if you got questions, and I'll see you on the next one.